life is learning. We are constantly learning.
So we've talked about what not schooling is. We've talked about what unschooling is. And then you said you like to refer to it more as simplified homeschooling. Yes. So how do we put this into practice? How do we make this a realistic thing in our home with intention?
One of the things I love about this concept is the fact that it's not just this thing that we schedule and say, okay, for these 3 hours today, we're going to do school. It is about the fact that life is learning. We are constantly learning. But what we do with simplified homeschooling is we identify 7 different areas that we want to keep an eye on. We don't necessarily want to say, oh, we're going to spend 20 minutes on this and 30 minutes on this and make it super scheduled necessarily. Yeah. But in the back of our minds, we're kind of looking at our week, or we're looking at our month, even if you want to take a really, high level approach and just say, am I hitting these? Are we doing these things? Are we consistently talking about these? Because altogether they create a very well-rounded, not just education, but a really well-rounded child. So those 7, they all start with an R, which makes them nice and easy to remember. The first is religion. And I do kind of hate that I call it religion, but I had to go with R. But it's, our faith. It is Christianity. Sure. It is helping them to form a biblical worldview. Yep. And of course, that's not something that we can do by just sitting down and saying, now we're going to learn how to have a biblical worldview. This is something that we talk about with our kids day in and day out about everything that's going on. It's infusing them with faith. The next is reasoning. We have to teach our kids to think logically. And again, we don't necessarily have to sit down and say, let's have a logic lesson. But, as you are scrolling through Facebook or wherever, and you see some ridiculous leading clickbait headline, it's a great opportunity to, kind of catch that and show it to your kids and say, what is this trying to make you think? What are they trying to get you to believe here? Just showing them how the world is going to constantly try to pull them off course and convince them of things and indoctrinate them in one way or another, and how they have to think critically about what they're being fed. Right. We can do that. We've got, oh my gosh, nowadays we have no end of options to use to learn that. So many opportunities. The next 3, reading, writing, arithmetic. Our kids need to know basic math. They need to know how to write. They need to know how to communicate. They need to know how to read. So those are the big ones that we really focus on with academics. And then the last 2 are responsibility, which is character development, very similar to what Charlotte Mason talks about. And also things like volunteering, learning like those interpersonal skills, just forming as a responsible human being, right? Doing chores around the house, that sort of thing. And then recreation. And I don't just mean like having a hobby or playing a sport or going outside and playing, but learning how to have margin, learning how to have downtime, learning how to slow down, how to not have your schedule, booked end to end and feed into that whole rat race life, but teaching our kids how to have a Sabbath, how to take time to relax, how to, let their brain go and not constantly be bombarded with things. Right. So together, again, these aren't things that you'd have to look at your day every day and say, oh, I got to schedule in some recreation and I have to teach them how to be responsible. It's really about a way to live your life. These are things that you're just, as parents, because homeschooling is an extension of parenting, right? Yeah. These are all things that we're really teaching our kids a lot of times anyway, but this makes it a little more intentional. And it does make us think, okay, have I been hitting on that? Have we really been talking about logic and critical thinking lately? It gives you these things kind of as these little touch points, these little things you can just kind of check and say, have I done this? Is this something we've done recently? So that, again, you kind of have those boundaries around what you're doing. And it's not just, go do a page of math and we're done for the day.
Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.